नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। Myself, Dr. Gaurav Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today we are going to continue forensic psychiatry. In previous session, we understand a brief brief about forensic psychiatry, what is importance of forensic psychiatry. Now today we are going to continue with hallucination. So what is hallucination? Hallucination is a perception in the absence of external stimulus. So it is a belief or perception or imagination when there is no external stimulus is present. Like a person sees a dog where dog is not there, or he sees lion where lion is not there. So they are imaginary and may affect any sense organ. They are of different types. They can be visual hallucination, where a person imagines or sees things which are not actually present, just like he saw dogs or animals or any his enemies or anything. Hallucination can be auditory, where a person hears voices when there is actually no voice, no one is speaking, but he hears the voices. Or olfactory hallucinations, where a person smells pleasant or unpleasant odor even when there is no odor present. Gustatory hallucinations, where the affected person feels taste on tongue. This taste can be sweet, sour, bitter, good, or bad. Although he is not eating anything or there is no food to taste. Tactile hallucinations, where a person imagines something is crawling into his bed or on body. Even when nothing is walking there, he feels that some insect is walking on her body, or a spider is walking on her body. There is a spider on his body. So these are tactile hallucinations. Next is psychomotor hallucination, where a man will have feeling of movement of some part of the body in the absence of such movement. So here there is no movement in any part of the body, like movement of hand, movement of fingers, movement of legs. There is no such movement, but he feels that there is movement of any part of the body. Next is command hallucinations, where a person feels that there is a command. He is hearing commands. Someone is giving him order to do some act. So this is command hallucination. Next is microptic or macrotropic hallucination, where a object appears unusual to his size. Either the object appears smaller than its original size, or it appears bigger than its original size. If it appears smaller in size, then it is microptic, and if it appears bigger, then it is macrotopic. Sexual hallucinations, where a person feels sexually very satisfied from unfounded self-imaginative objects. So out of these hallucinations, visual hallucinations are the most common type of hallucination in case of organic mental disorders, while auditory hallucinations are common in functional disorders. So if a person is having any organic disease where brain is affected, there's a pathology which can be seen, then there is commonly visual hallucinations. And if there is no organic pathology, there is no changes that can be observed in brain, then common type of hallucinations are auditory hallucinations. Hallucinations also occurs in cases of fevers, intoxications, and insanity. So, illusion. Next is illusion. Illusion is a false idea of belief which can be corrected. In case of hallucination, there was a belief in the absence of stimulation which was difficult to correct. which cannot be corrected. But in case of illusion, there is a false belief or false idea, but it can be corrected with the logical reasoning. If it is explained logically to the person, then he understands the idea or belief that what he's believing or what his belief is or what his perception is not true. So, for example, when a person touches a rope and mistake them as a snake, or may mistake the stem of a tree for a ghost in the dark, but when you throw light on the stem or on the rope, then he knows that it is a rope or it is a stem, not something else. A sane person may experience illusions but is capable of correcting the false impression by itself or by any logical reasoning. An insane person continues to believe in the illusion even though the real facts are clearly pointed out. So there is a marginal difference in the sane and insane person. A sane person can also experience illusions, an insane person can also experience illusion. But the difference is that sane person can correct their false perception. While in case of insane person, even after clearing the things, after disclosing the real fact, they don't believe it. They continue what they believe. So illusion are features of psychosis, particularly of organic type. Now impulse. So impulse is a sudden and irresistible force compelling a person to the conscious performance of some action without motive or forethought. Impulse is a sudden reaction. It is an irresistible desire to do an act. And this act, what he performs, is without a motive or without any thought process. He do that thing immediately without thinking about its consequences. He just do that thing. So that is impulse, which is sudden and irresistible force compelling person to do some act. A normal person can control impulse, but in case of insane person, they can't judge. They don't have power of judgment and reasoning, and can do anything in the impulse. Some types of impulses are kleptomania, where there is irresistible desire to steal articles which are of very little value, or pyromania, where there is irresistible desire to set fire to things, or mutilomania, where there is irresistible desire to mutilate animals, or dipsomania. In this case, there is irresistible desire for alcoholic drinks of period at periodic intervals, or sexual impulses, where there is compulsive desire to perform sexual intercourse, which may often be in perverted way. Last one is suicidal and homicidal impulses, where there are impulses or irresistible desire to commit either suicide or to kill someone. Obsession. So, obsession is a condition where a single idea or a single thought or a single emotion is constantly entertained by a person, although it is not rational, but in spite of all efforts to avoid it, he can't. It is a disorder of content of thought. So, in the case of obsession, a person continuously think about an idea, or he continuously think about any emotions, or he lives in a particular single emotions constantly, which is not important, but he can't avoid that thinking process. He can't avoid that emotion or that idea or that thought process. He is continuously within that thing. So any attempt to resist make them appear more insistent, and yielding is the most inevitable outcome. So the more he tries to resist that obsession or resist that idea or resist that emotion, it appears more strongly. It is a borderline between sanity and insanity. They usually occur in neurotic people well able to discharge the ordinary responsibilities of life. These ideas are usually associated with some sort of dread or fear. The person experiences anxiety, and to control anxiety, he indulges in repetitive acts, which that is compulsive acts. Phobia or fear. It is an excessive or irrational fear of a particular object or situation. Phobias may develop to almost any object or any situation. So it is an irrational fear to any particular object or situation or animal or anything particular. Lucid interval. This is an interval present between two episodes of insanity, during which all the symptoms of insanity disappears completely. The individual is able to judge his acts soundly and he becomes legally liable for his acts. So, a lucid interval is an interval or a time gap between the two episodes of insanity. And during this period or this interval, the person is able to think, the person is able to judge his act, and judicially he become liable for his acts which he performed during this duration. The period of lucid interval varies from person to person and from time to time in the same person, and as such, one cannot be certain about the time when a person passes again in this state of insanity. Therefore, if he commits an offense or any crime, he cannot be completely held guilty or responsible because in this case it is very difficult to know that when he performed that act, was he in the episode of insanity, or it was a lucid interval where he was able to judge his acts. In mania and melancholia, lucid intervals are very common. This session is powered by digital version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.